So let's go ahead and get started. If you just hopped on, you didn't hear me when we first started. This session will be recorded, as will all of the MAPS group coaching sessions over the holiday break. These will be going up until, I believe, the first of the year. We've got things on the schedule, everything except, I believe, the 25th. So 15 of these group calls are going to be happening. Make sure you've got ones you want to participate in live on your calendar. They are free to you as our mastery clients, and we appreciate you guys for being there. So make sure you take full advantage. We have a wide array of topics that are going to be covered, and the recordings will be available. The recordings will not, however, be available until early January once they are all completed, and they will come out to you in the Friday client newsletter at that point in time. So for today, make sure you take lots of notes. Participate, ask questions either in the chat. You can raise your hand if you want to stop me on something. I am totally okay with that. I like participation. Sitting here talking to myself for 30 minutes can get a little bit old. But if you guys have questions, definitely feel free to pop in and ask. Make sure you are muted for now, unless you're opening up to ask a question. We don't have any background noise, anything like that, but I think we are all good for the time being. So I am your facilitator for the day. My name is Liz Landry. I'm a MAPS executive coach. I have been with MAPS over 11 years at this point. I am going on my 12th year since 2010. So quite some time. Some of you may already know me. You've been in my sessions before. Some of you may have no clue who I am. So we are here today to talk about the path to promoting. And when we look at the path to promoting, that's really looking at two different people in this. And so we probably have both of you on this call. So I want to identify that and just call that out right now from the start. We have one of you, which is the person who has probably hired somebody and maybe saying, how do I build this person up and promote them? And how do I make sure they're ready for the next opportunity? And then we have the flip side of that coin on this call. We have the person that may be in a team or in a business or in a market center and looking for that next opportunity. And so even if you are an agent and you say, hey, I'm an independent agent, I want to be an independent agent, but I want more opportunity in my market center. I may want to be a TL or an OP or an investor in the future. This is where we want to talk about that, because you have two sides to that coin. It is not just the person who is the boss that we're talking about today. So keep that in mind as we go through here. Our session is going to be about 30 minutes today, and then we will open up for some Q&A after that for about 10 minutes. If we wrap up a little bit early, if you guys don't have questions throughout and we're cruising along, awesome. If we go a little bit late, we do have a drop dead time on that. So I want to make sure we do respect our time for Q&A at the end and answer any questions there. But absolutely, if we've got one or two through the middle, just bring them up, let me know. So let's go ahead and get started. So what do? We want to promote somebody. You either are in a market center or in a team, or you have a market center or a team, or you're thinking about doing it. The first step is going to be hire the right people. And we're not here to talk about a career visioning class today. That's not at all what we're going to do. But to be completely honest, if you want to promote people, you have to get it right in the first place. And I'll tell you, the number one place I see us falter as we get larger businesses and as we're promoting people is we go back and we look and we say, well, did you hire the right person in the first place that was going to be available for an opportunity in the future? More often than not, unfortunately, the answer is actually no. We don't hire right in the first place. So let's cover some of the baselines for hiring the right people before we ever even get into what it looks like to start promoting somebody. In the MREA, we talk about the two different types of talent we have. We have cul-de-sac talent and we have capacity talent. Now, cul-de-sac, imagine it just like you're driving down a road in a car and you get into a neighborhood, you're on this street and you hit a cul-de-sac. What happens when you hit the cul-de-sac? You just kind of go around and around and around until eventually you exit the cul-de-sac and you turn back around. You've basically hit a dead end. And it's just a dead end you can kind of live in for a while and twirl around in. And this is exactly what cul-de-sac talent is. They have a capacity, right? Where that's it. This is our limit. They've hit their head on their ceiling of ability and they don't have the opportunity to go any further. They may be really good at what they do, but they're not going to go any further. Cul-de-sac talent is not just because of a lack of skill set. And so I want you guys to be clear on that. It is also a lack of desire. You may find a person who could be the greatest, but they have to want it as well. And if they don't want it, doesn't matter if they've got the skill set to be able to do it or if they've got the capacity to be able to do it, they still at that point in time fall into cul-de-sac talent. And cul-de-sac talent will never help you grow your business further. Capacity talent, on the other hand, will get larger and their lid will grow the more you sink into them. These are going to be growth-oriented people. They want to learn. They may not necessarily have a skill set above where you're hiring them for at the time, but they have the ability and desire and motivation to grow and get better. Capacity talent are going to be the people that you're promoting in your business. They're going to be the people that take you to the next level. So when you are going through that initial standpoint, when we say hire the right people, are they capacity or are they cul-de-sac? For those of you that already have a team or have a business or have a market center, look at your existing people on the team. Are they capacity or are they cul-de-sac? If they're appearing as cul-de-sac, is there a possibility to get them to capacity? Have they found motivation for some reason? Does it exist? Can we move them forward? And if you are the person in the team or you are the person looking for opportunity, have a hard conversation with yourself right now and look at it and say, am I cul-de-sac talent or am I capacity talent? Am I doing the things I need to be able to raise my lid? Follow the career visioning process. Sorry, went too fast there. Follow the career visioning process. In the career visioning process, it's not just the verification of the KPA. That is actually a very small part of the CV process. It's only about 20% of your overall decision. For me, the most important parts are that life story and the motivational interview. For those of you that have not taken the career visioning class yet, I highly encourage you to find it. Thank you to our new virtual world. There are tons of them that you can attend virtually. I think Gene Rivers does one almost every month now for career visioning in 30, 60, 90. So make sure you do take that process, because the life story and the motivational interview, when you actually go through those parts of this career visioning process, that will give you the clues and the indicators on this person of, are they capacity talent or are they cul-de-sac talent? If you've got people on board that you have not taken through those two parts of the interview, now is a great time early in 2022 to go back through and take them through that. So now let's imagine we know we have the right people. Great. We have that capacity talent. They're growth minded. They're good. They're a good hire. We hired this person and we said, this person fits what I want to grow my business. Now we have to create opportunity for them. Here's where you as a leader become into play at a very high level, and it's almost immediately upon hiring. You have to know your vision. What's your 1-year vision of the business? Your 3-year, your 5-year, your 10-year? What's the 50-year? For some of you, you're going to have this business in 50 years. You'll still own it. It'll still exist. What's the vision of what it looks like at that point in time? Do we have accessory businesses that come along with it? What I mean on that is, do we have a mortgage company that we want to then open? Property management, rehabbing, concierge, sign management. Think of all the people you use in your world. Those are accessory business opportunities for you as a real estate business owner and as a real estate team. If I'm the hire and I'm talent and I'm really talent, I'm probably going to want to see that vision, because talent isn't just attracted to dollars, not just money. They're attracted to your opportunity that you present. So you'll see these graphics here. These shouldn't feel overly new to you guys, hopefully. It's your world on the left, where your world's not getting any bigger. You've decided, and it may be a conscious decision and it may be a skill set decision, but either way, there's a cap on how big you want your world to be. Now, if you hire somebody who is a rock star and you bring them inside of your world, but you say, I want to do 100 deals. I don't want to do anything more, but I want someone to be inside my world. I need administrative help. If you don't want your world to get any bigger, but you hire a really talented person, think of it like putting one balloon inside of another. It's going to need to grow. It's going to need to expand. And so by nature, it will either force your world to expand, which is the graphic on the right, or it will leave your business, which is the graphic on the left. if your world is not large enough to house and create opportunity for the talent inside of it, they will leave. So where's your vision? Organizational models are very powerful in this circumstance. If you've read the MREA, you've seen the 7 levels of an organizational model. We've got the MREA 2 models on there as well, which now have expansion on it. And if you've seen any large team models, or you've been to career visioning where they talk about this sector, often the instructors will draw out for you what a 15 or 20-year model may look like to a large team, where they've got dozens of secondary businesses, hundreds of employees, teams within the team, and lots of opportunity. Now, if I'm a brand new agent, which I was at one point, by the way, I was a brand new Keller recruit in 2006 by Aaron Kaufman, recruited me off Craigslist, actually. And if I'm that brand new agent and I'm hungry, which I was when I started with Keller Williams, I'm going to say, great, this is where I know I'm starting today. Where am I at in 5 years? And that's a question we ask hires all the time is, well, where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And that's great. But do we actually listen to what they say and create that path? Because if they say, well, I want your job in 5 years, you may think, that's awesome. This person's going to replace me. Well, where do you go now? Where is your world and how big is it to make that happen? So know your long-term vision and play with what those organizational models may look like. Make sure you are communicating that to your team. These should be posted on the wall. Everybody should have a copy, and everyone in your business should know exactly where they fit in that organizational model by role and what their next opportunities are and how they can earn the right to get to those opportunities. So now that we're looking at, we've got our world big enough, we created this vision. We know we want something big. How do we get someone focused on that? If you guys have watched any of the Team Win series we've done, you'll know that 2 weeks ago for the December one, we hosted one on retaining talent. And one of the things we used as our myths was myth. If I hire the right person, they'll forge their own path. And the reality is, talent is going to forge the path where it is set up for them to succeed, right? Imagine you are on a hike and you come to 2 paths. One is rocks, fallen trees, and everything is just in your way. And you look over to the right and there's a very nice, clean cut gravel path that you can go. You're probably going to go down the one on the right. You're not going to necessarily take the one on the left. Talent will forge a path, but they're going to do it where they're set up for that success. So this is where we say, put the blinders on. You've hired the right person, which is step 1. You know what motivates them. You know where their goals are in their life. And you found that out in the career visioning process. Now you've shown them the vision of what your business is going to be and where you want to go. So a talented person at this time should really be sinking their teeth into that vision and that view. So next step for you as the leader, you need to put the blinders on that person and give them the track to run on. Racehorses do great because they can't see all the distractions on the side. What are they focused on? They're focused on the goal, which is in front of them, which is that little rabbit they take around, right? Or that's the dog track. Same thing. But they're focused, and that's why we wear blinders on them. So we want to do the same thing for our people. And that means keeping them focused on their goals. So when we say put the blinders on, it's not close off opportunity. It's not don't let them see everything else that's going on. It's say, hey, you want to achieve this goal? Let's talk about what your path looks like to get to that next opportunity in the organizational model. And here's what you need to accomplish in order to do that. So we're going to start with some material out of our 30, 60, 90 and career visioning classes. So one, and you'll see it there on the left, is your 30, 60, 90 and onboarding plan. Make it easy on you, make it easy on them, set them up for success right from the start. Now, these materials, I can't share with you right here during this Zoom, but you can find these in KWU under the Leverage series and go to the second class called 30, 60, 90, and these are available for download. And they are called your 30, 60, 90 plan. And by the way, we have these for every position in a market center and in a team. So if it's in the MREA model, we have these for you guys already. You get to customize them for your own business because every business is unique, but there's already a standard format for you to follow. The one on the right is called a rate and rank. Your rate and rank is your quarterly review that you do with your people. And this is a self-assessment. So if I am the talent, I am going to assess myself against what the 20% of my role is. How do I know what the 20% of my role is? You, as my leader, have articulated it to me that this is exactly what you need to do to succeed in this role. Because unless you succeed in this role, you can't promote somebody. If you say my minimum standard for a buyer's agent is 24 units, and then yet they do 20 units a year constantly, is this somebody that's really meeting the expectations to be promoted? No, they're not. Not if you're actually serious that your minimum standard is 24 units. If your minimum standard is 20 units, fantastic. They're meeting the minimum standard. We have no problems. This is where that customization comes in for you and your business and how you want to work that. So this is all customizable to what you believe the most important parts of that role are and how you want it set up. But the key here is you have to make a plan. Even an incredibly talented person that is not set up for success is likely to fail. So you went through the hard work, you hired the right person, keep it going. Use these materials and design them for around what you believe needs to be accomplished in that first 30, 60, and 90 days. And you'll notice on there, it's only one page. It's a 90-day plan on one page. It's not 6 pages long. It's not a day-by-day activity task. It is simply setting them up for success and saying, these are what I expect you to accomplish and be fluent in at the end of the 30, the end of the 60, and the end of the 90 days. And we're going to do that review. And if you're not meeting that standard, that's a whole different conversation. But because you hired talent, the expectation is they will meet that standard. For those of you looking for that link, Jonathan Mills, thank you very much, sir. Just posted it in the chat box there so you can find those papers through that. So use these and create a growth plan. Again, let's imagine I'm the talent. You've hired me and you say, Liz, here's your 30, 60, 90 plan. Great. At the end of 90 days, I'm on track. I'm doing fantastic. Quarterly review comes up. I do my rate and rank and I'm rating a 7 or an 8, which is in the green zone, which means you need to create my next opportunity path with me. Let's say those things are happening and you have this person in your business, or the other side of the coin, you are that person looking for future opportunities. What comes next? Well, this is the growth plan. And a lot of people look at the growth plan and they kind of push it off to the side and they say, well, if you want to get the next opportunity, you need to develop yourself. Wouldn't it be better if we actually gave them a path of what that looked like? What's important for that next role or those next 3 roles in that organizational chart that they may be opening the door of opportunity on? Think of it like prerequisites. When you were in college, you didn't immediately go into calculus. They didn't just say, congratulations, you're in college now, here's calculus. They said, well, you've passed algebra 2. Now you're going to move into geometry. And then you're going to move into pre-calc, and then congratulations, you've passed that. Now you can go into calculus. No one just dropped us into calculus. It didn't just happen. There was prereqs to show that we are qualified to take that next step. And that's exactly what your growth plan needs to be. So step 5, you're going through the rate and rank on your quarterly review. They're ready for more, right? We're creating a trajectory path. Go into the growth plan, and this is something that you are going to completely customize for you, your business, and the role this person is going into. But here's the beauty of this customization. You do not need to recreate the wheel whatsoever. There is more material inside of KW and MAPS than you could ever possibly hope to use. You just have to pick and choose which ones you want to use. So let's start with an example. If I am a buyer's agent and I say, Heather is my boss, and I say, Heather, I really want that opportunity as a lead buyer's agent that's on the organizational model. And Heather says, great, we're expecting to be filling that position in the next 8 to 12 months. Here's what you need to do in order to be qualified for that position. 1, you need to be hitting your minimum standard of 24 units a year. And I say, okay, great, check. I'm doing that. She says, 2, you need to thoroughly read and understand and be able to speak to the MREA. I say, perfect, check. I've got it. Same thing with shift and the one thing. And I go, okay, shift, I'm done. The one thing, I need to study some more. So it goes on my growth plan. And then she says, you need to make sure you take career visioning twice in the next year, because you're going to be a leader of people in that position. And you have to understand the career visioning process, their life story, and the motivational interview. And I go, ooh, I haven't taken career visioning at all. Okay, so twice in the next 8 to 12 months to be qualified for this position. Okay, got it. And then she says, well, it's also very important to me that in that position, you thoroughly understand all of the models that KW uses, meaning the organizational model, the economic model, the 80-20 principle, right? We have this world of models that we are built off of. And I go, well, I'm a really good sales agent, and I've read the MREA, and I've got shift, but I'm not real great at being able to articulate those models, but I know I could do it, right? I'm confident myself if I found the tools. And she says, great, go take MAPS models class. It runs once a quarter. Here's the link for it. Perfect. MAPS models class, all about models. What effort has Heather put into this development plan and getting me to that point now? It's pretty minimal from a leadership standpoint, right? It really is. She's not having to come up with any of these classes, any of these courses, any of these tools. What's Heather having to do? She's having to tell me what I need to accomplish and get it on paper, and then she has to hold me accountable to it. That is not difficult. We always make this too difficult as the leader. I assure you, this is actually really, really, really easy. And there is a tool already built for everything you want to teach anybody in your organization to make them ready for the next opportunity. 100%, it exists. You don't need to create the curriculum. All you need to do is get out one piece of paper and write it down. That's it. It's one piece of paper and write it down. And there are so many opportunities out there. If you're unaware of a lot of the training classes or the material we have, 1, you can go to the KW Connect website and you can see all the courses that KW offers. Some of these, the material is up there already, and you can teach them in-house. Some of them are going to be taught in your market center. Some of them are going to be taught on a regional level. But the material is already there. And a talented student can do that research on their own, find it, work through the class, make sure they're finding it where it's being offered, whether that's Zoom, regionally, locally, in the market center, et cetera. Next, our MAPS coaching website. We have a group program for any and everything that you could possibly need. If you need somebody to be a relocation specialist and that's their next opportunity in your organizational model for your business, we have it. You don't need to recreate these things. So please don't make this harder on yourself than it has to be. All you have to do is create the list of what you believe the prerequisites are for me to be available for the next opportunity. So now in 8 months, when Heather says, all right, we've hit all of our metrics as a business and I'm ready to go, I need that lead buyer's agent position. Ideally, I am not her only candidate, by the way. I mean, for my sake, I would hope I was, but for Heather's sake, I hope that there is at least 2 other people in her organization already who have been following that same prerequisite track and going through to accomplish this, and the best person gets the job. That's the ideal. Now, what happens if she doesn't have anybody? She's not taken the time and developed everybody. She's not made that prerequisite course. What happens is what happens to 95% of our teams. And I'll tell you this, these are the people that I coach. This is who I've coached for years. What we find when a lot of teams get to that 50 to 60 million mark, they've done a really good job about building sales agents. They've not done a really good job about building those people to be ready for the next leadership opportunity. And so a lot of teams come to a screeching halt at 60 million. Screeching halt. and they hit their head on the ceiling, because this is the next natural ceiling of achievement. And past 60 million, the only problems you really have are people problems. And so what we're finding is a leadership gap where between 20 and 60, we didn't take the time to develop those people with prereqs. So don't recreate the wheel, use what you have. Don't be forced to go outside of your organization if you don't have to. Ideally, you promote from within. Take a look at our own president of the company, Mark King. He started as an agent, then he moved into a mega agent, then he went to become an OP, then he became a regional director, he became a MAPS coach, and then he moved into KWRI into a position, and ultimately he moved into the KWRI president. That's a path. There were prerequisites on that path. There were things he had to check off the list. We need to create the same. Lastly, now you've created this path, you've done all the right things. Your final step, you need to put a bow on it. So what do I mean when I say put a bow on it? Well, we tie all these pieces together through regular coaching. You get to decide what that is with your people. You may coach them weekly. You may coach them every other week. You may coach them once a month, but I'm going to recommend at least twice a month you have one-on-ones, and that you are following up on that growth plan. They have a copy of it. You have a copy of it. Every time you meet, where are you on the growth plan? How are you going to demonstrate your competencies in that to me so we know we can check this off the list? This is going to be continued education, events, regular reviews coming in. That rate and rank form is meant to be used quarterly. I would bet most of you can't remember the last time you gave one of your team members a quarterly review. That's fine. Now's a great time to start. 2022 is going to be your year. You're going to get it. Set yourself a calendar reminder. Don't make it complicated. Again, it's one page. It doesn't need to be difficult. That's it. We're measuring them against their 20%. Your engagement in this process really is half of the battle. So if you stay engaged and you simply create this path, not only will they follow it and run down it once you put the blinders on them and you show them what they need to accomplish, your life gets much easier because it allows that talent to lift your business up. One of the things that I've always said is that we ride on the coattails of our people's success, not the other way around. You will succeed to the caliber of what your people succeed to. So make sure you're not just investing in yourself and education, right? You're here today. Where are they? What are they doing? What are they absorbing? And how are you creating that path for them? So I saw a couple of questions come through on here. So a couple of you couldn't get the documents for the 30, 60, 90. Daniel has put that as a file in the chat box. So if you need that right now and you couldn't get into KW Connect for some reason, Daniel has put that in there as a file, 30, 60, 90-day plan as a doc. So go ahead and download that there. Few of you have asked, will this recording be available? Yes, it will, but it will be several weeks before this recording is available. It will come out to you in the Friday MAPS client newsletter, along with the other 14 calls that we have going on during the holiday break. So this recording will be available in early January. Now, I'm going to open it up to Q&A. We've got about 10 minutes here to see what you guys have questions on. So feel free to raise your hand, unmute yourself, type into the chat box, whatever you'd like to discuss anything that we've covered today, or a question that it might have sparked for you that maybe isn't even 100% on topic. That's totally fine. Sometimes we relate to things in that capacity.
Hi, Liz. Can you hear me?
I can. How you doing, Marty?
Wow, I feel like I'm connected to the world here. It's kind of weird. I'm sitting at my desk. So I'm Marty in Omaha, and this is so timely for me. Thank you so much. The difference between cul-de-sac and capacity, and it's just keeping me up at night. I'm tossing and turning with all these candidates, great candidates, by the way, all amazing people. You just love them. They're lovable people and so talented. But, I did start getting that gut feeling on a couple of them. Like, I think they want to be comfortable, and I think they want to be locked in and do some amazing work. But I'm thinking, well, that's admin 2 maybe, but admin 1 gotta be barn burner, I think. What are your thoughts? I think capacity is so incredibly important on that first hire.
Capacity is absolutely crucial on that first hire for a couple of reasons. One, as rainmakers, we are not generally the most structured people. And we need somebody who's going to have the ability to really grow and take control of that side of our world, right? So that first person, absolutely a crucial hire. One, they need to be able to do things for us that we can't do for ourselves. It's just not in our skill set usually. But two, they're going to be the ones in charge of your next administrative hire. So they've got to have that capacity to be able to grow, right? You're going to create that growth plan for them and show them, here's what you need to learn and what you need to accomplish in order for you to be able to hire the transaction coordinator or the marketing coordinator that's going to come into the administrative side next, that allows you, Marty, to go out and again, sell more houses, right? So it really is important on that first hire. And the first hire is usually the first place we underhire because we're scared, right? We're terrified to make that.
I did it 4 times.
Yeah, we're terrified to make that hire correct. And, someone asked me one time, how do you know when you have talent sitting across from you? And I said, you should be wildly uncomfortable leaving that interview. Like, they should physically make you uncomfortable because you're going to have to be that good to stay one step ahead of them. Yeah. If you really are sitting across from talent, you're going to be shaking in your boots a little bit, honestly. If you walk out of there and you're like, yeah, this is a great person, they're really nice, I think they're going to fit in just fine, you're probably not hiring capacity talent at that point. You're probably hiring cul-de-sac. And you may love them and they may be super nice and they may be able to do the job great, but they're never going to take you to that next level. And that will inevitably start holding you back. So be careful there.
How much do you share? Thank you, Liz. How much do you share with that person? Like, say, look, I'm looking for capacity. Are you capacity? Like, how much do you share with them about like helping them to identify themselves as capacity or not? Because it's supposed to be a mutual thing. Like, they're checking me out too. They don't want to waste their time.
There is no such thing as over communication and clear expectations, truthfully. Yeah. There's no reason to hide that behind a curtain. And a lot of people will, because they think it might scare somebody off. If they scared them off, it wasn't the right person to begin with.
I have a comment if you guys don't mind me.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
So I recently just hired, in August, I hired my first, transaction coordinator / do all sort of thing at BIN. She's actually from the Philippines and she's a virtual assistant, but like, it's been game changing. She's amazing. She's learned a lot of my business really quickly. And I just let them know, like, it's part of my core values is like, we like honesty, we like integrity, and we like to hire from within. Right. So if you go above and beyond the call of duty, we're looking to promote from within first. And like, to be honest with you, she's done such a good job that in the future, I see her as, as possible COO and maybe sponsoring her from the Philippines to come. So just, that's what I would say. Don't be afraid to kind of put it all on the plate and be like, hey, look, we're looking to hire for long-term and to promote within. People value that in the company. And if you put that out there right away, I think that would be a selling factor for why they would want to come work for you.
Absolutely. Talent is attracted to opportunity. And when you're clear on that, and it's like giving a dog a bone, right? You show them the path, you put the blinders on and you say, hey, you could be here in this amount of time and I can show you how to do that. The right person's going to sink their teeth into that. Absolutely. Even if it's a challenge, right? Because if it's the right person, they're going to see that challenge as something invigorating and fun. Talented people like challenges. Talented people are not lazy. They're not just looking to cut out of work 20 minutes early every day. They're not showing up late. Talented people will sink their teeth in. So, and where he said that he had a VA with that, there's nothing that says VAs aren't talented, right? People kind of get scared about that of, well, a VA, are they going to be up to the capacity? It's about the individual person. It has nothing to do with where they work. It's about the individual person. So the same process still needs to be followed. A couple of you had asked for the link for the calls, by the way, for all of the other 14 calls. I popped it into the chat so you can find it there. Just scroll up a little bit if you don't see it. I did pop it in there, and that Google Drive link will take you and you can click on any of those pictures. Another question.
Yeah, maybe to Marty and even Sean, I'd be interested in a virtual assistant, but where did you find all this talent where you have a bunch of people to interview?
I could jump in really quick. LinkedIn has been amazing. Indeed is good. LinkedIn has been amazing. and I rewrote my job description to really put it from their perspective. Like, what are my talents? What am I doing in the marketplace? What are my dreams? What are my testimonials? You know, I sold myself more than I ever have besides the job description, and that changed everything.
Thank you. That's a great way to approach it.
Yeah, good luck. It's been great. I've got great advice from Gene Rivers.
Good old Mr. Rivers. Gene is my OP, actually. Has been since the
Really?
day I started. Yeah. Has been since the day I started in KW.
My mind, his little Southern accent is going there, you know, kind of on my case.
Gene has a very nice way of making you feel really stupid because he explains something so clearly and so simply. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I got it. Sharmi, I saw you had your hand up and you unmuted.
And that brings me to the exact question of simple, right? You said it's simple. Don't overcomplicate. That's what I continue to do, is overcomplicate. I just pulled up the 30, 60, 90 again. I have taken that and I have tweaked it, and it's now a 25-page document, right? So, boom, I got it. How do you, like, commit to memory the effective communication teams, process, systems, and value propositions? When I put in what the effective communication is, what the team processes are, what all of those are into that, it becomes this convoluted mess. What am I doing wrong, and how do I get out of my head on that?
Remember, your 30, 60, 90 tool, it doesn't mean there's not a lot of things that they need to learn. They do, right? So that may be a separate list where you're like, okay, here is the most important ones in 30 days of the team's communications and processes, right? But it's probably only going to be a couple of them. Very frankly, the way that I figure that, and when I look at a position and when I'm clearing through this with a client and they hand me this 25-page document and I'm like, great, what's the one thing on this entire list of their 30-day stuff that if they nail this and they screw up the rest of it, you're still not going to fire them?
Gotcha.
Right? Because remember, the 20% is honestly, the 20% is what we would fire somebody over not getting done. That's how you know that it's the most important things. And there's a lot of things we can say are important. And I get it. There are a lot of important things, but that does not mean that they are the priorities. And it doesn't mean that they are the 20% of the role. So if we're looking at a buyer's agent, at the end of 90 days, I am going to fire a buyer's agent if they do not meet the minimum standard of lead gen, and if they can't convert leads to appointments, and if those appointments don't convert to a minimum number of contracts. That's it. You can be the nicest person in the world. I can love you to death. You can be great with clients. They can rave about you. But at the end of the day, if you can't get the leads to convert to appointments and the appointments to convert to contracts, you're just a really likable person. Doesn't mean you're a great buyer's agent. And those are some of the hard facts we have to get clear on here is, what are we actually holding this person accountable to? Everything else is kind of a secondary. It's what are the performance metrics we're holding this person accountable to? And that's what matters on the 30, 60, 90s. Because when we see ones, and I'm sure some of you on the call have probably built these and learned the lessons or had it in a job where you're doing a ton of different tasks, right? And everything seems important. And yet no one ever actually gave you the clarity of, here's exactly what I'm going to hold you accountable to in this role. Yeah, there's a lot of other things that you have to do, but this is what you're measured on. Because if we don't put the priority on this is what you are measured on, they think that everything is treated equally. And that's on us as leadership. That's a screw up on our part. And by the way, just because we then get awareness that we screwed that part up, it does not actually mean that we can necessarily go back and fix it. Sometimes the damage has been done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've conditioned somebody to believe that all things are important.
Yep. Okay, that was very good. Thanks, Liz.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Don't see any questions. So just as a reminder on here, yes, the recording will be made available. It will not be until early January. There is a link in the chat box. So I'm going to drop it in here again for you guys That is going to take you to a graphic with all of our holiday calls, the next 14 of them, because there are 15 in total, and you are on the very first one. All 14 of them will come out to you at the beginning of January, recorded and available in your Friday Maps client newsletter. So if you guys have any questions, anything else, I still have a couple of minutes. Feel free to raise your hand. For the rest of you, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I hope everyone has a fantastic and safe and happy end of the year and is getting ready to kick 2022's butt right into place from a business standpoint. And I'll hang out here just in case anybody else has any more questions or wants to pop on for about 2 more minutes. So have a great day, everybody.
Hi, Liz. This is Susan Bai. Thank you for your presentation. It was really helpful.
Absolutely.
My question is, so I hired my first emerging, as you were mentioning, is since your first hire is pretty scary. And she actually did. So this is how I reviewed it at the end of this. I hired her in April, and brand new to the business, brand new, whatever. And in December, just December 15th, we were reviewing, and I said, is this where I wanted to be with an admin? No, I'm at 60% where I thought I would be. But when I look at you as a person, how much you've developed, I'm very proud of you, and you should be proud of your development as well. Now that she's got a hang of everything, a lot of things personally are coming to surface. So I gave her a time off that I don't know when she's coming back, but she keeps telling me that she wants to come back, but she's got physical issues. And so she's going to doctors and all this kind of stuff. So in the meantime, God had somebody prepared for me who's proven talent. And so like within a week's time after just being interviewed, she kind of went through the ringer with people here who didn't hire her for various reasons. And then I did. And so she's joining in January. One of her main reasons, she is a realtor for 4 years, did about 10 transactions this year. And she's now really wanting a work balance life because she is a 3rd grader. So she didn't want to work on weekends, which I was totally okay with. But then after all the offer was given and accepted, and we were talking about January's schedule, I said 30, 60, 90 days, can you come in every day? I'll come in every day just so we can get a hang of each other, how we work, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, I actually want to pick up my daughter at 2:30 every day, and I'll resume work at 3:30 from home. And it just threw me for a loop. So it became kind of an issue. And then I just, sat and thought about it for a while. And I say, okay, well, let's see how that works the first month.
Well, and here's one of the things to be careful on whenever you are hiring and bringing somebody in. We are clear on the expectations of the position with them right out the gate. Right.
So I said to her,
now gone through a process and you've stopped looking for somebody because you believed you had the right person. And then we sprung an expectation on at the end of that and, kind of added it on as an additional instead of right up front of having that extreme clarity on here's my expectations with this.
Right. So I asked her, and she said, well, I told you work-life balance was important to me. And I said, yes. And so you asked me that you didn't want to work on weekends. In the beginning, you didn't say you wanted to pick your daughter up at 2:30 every day. And I said, is this just winter or is this all year round? What is this? And she said, well, yes, I would like to do that. So I said to her, after thinking about it, she was sitting right here after, and I said, can you give me everything else that you want as your work balance, life balance, because I don't think this was very right. As here we are signed, we're talking about January and now you spring this. I would like you to send me an email of all the other things because she told me she wants to be at soccer games and all. I said, that's fine. Give me your schedule.
As a leader, that's one of those things of when someone says, this is important to me, work-life balance. So tell me what that means to you. Tell me more. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And this is where this happens. It was a failed expectations and clear communication in the beginning. Mm-hmm. This is one of the reasons we really dig deep in the life story and the motivational interview, because things like that will come out during those 2 parts of the process.
So what do you think I should do at this point?
I would get clarity with her on exactly what her expectations are. And then separately, before you have that from her, get clear on what your expectations are of that role and what you want out of it. Because you don't want to bend your business to a hire. If you bend your business and what you want to a hire, it will inevitably bite you in the butt in the long run. So make sure you are clear separately on what you want to accomplish out of that role and what your expectations are. And then when she hands you hers, do they line up?
Okay.
Do they line up at that point?
Okay. So I did, because I did ask her to send me an email on that, and she said she would, and I have not gotten it yet. So now I'm having.
So if I'm you, this is probably not the right candidate for me. Just being frank, right? All of these things are hoops that people need to jump through for a role to show they want it, right? If it's, hey, you have 2 days, get me this expectations list, and you don't get it, okay, there's a hoop you didn't make it through, right? Like all of these things are just showing how this person will show up in the future. And that's, probably not the person you want there.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Susan,
you so much.
You need to be quick to fire and slow to hire. So that's my two cents.
Yep.
All right, guys, we are wrapping
Thank you.
up. Thank you so much. Your recording will be in your inbox in a couple of weeks. You've got the link for the other group calls. I appreciate it. If you need anything, please just reach out to MAPS and let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.